All right, next let's talk about Lady Death, who is a death goddess. There are a lot of gods and goddesses throughout our mythology and folklore and religions and all that. And the thing is, most of them are real to some degree, real in the sense of they've been written based on true beings, and then human egos and things get in the way and twist stories and all that sort of thing that happens. So Lady Death is one of the real ones. She is a being from African culture. She didn't come to me first. Mother came to me first, and Mother is like the mother of all death. They've never given me another name. These are the names that they used for me to call them. Some of them, in African lore and other things, there are actual names for them. I do have one for Lady Death that I don't share. Like I was asked, like this is her name for. It's like a special thing that you build a relationship. They give you their name type of thing. Their like true name. And so I met Mother first when I sat down to meditate, and I was getting back into meditation for the first time after 10, 15 years, and had all kinds of beings coming to me. And I had this one like feminine-ish being who came, stood in my room, and her face was half rotted, and the other side of her face was like normal. And she had, to the point where it was like an eyeball hanging out, all this other stuff. It was real gross, horrifying type of thing for a lot. We've been desensitized now through media, but back in the day, it would have been a very like, oh my God, horrific type of thing. And she looks down at me, and now anybody seeing this in their physical presence would be afraid for the most part. Most people would. But she looks down at me, and I had experience with a lot of beings like this. And she goes, "Aren't you afraid?" I'm like, "No, I'm not afraid." And she goes, "Oh, good, good." And then disappears, and it's kind of this feeling of I'll be back at some point. So then Lady Death came. She came by means of a galactic and a human. I was led to create portals with one of my guides, Abu, who was a very, very funny guy. He would pop into the room in like Apu. I think his name's Apu in The Simpsons. My guide was Abu, like ABU, and I think in The Simpsons he's Up APU. But he would pop in Apu's voice, he would be like, "This is Abu," and just pop into the room full of joy, happiness, and like try to surprise you and get you to laugh using the Simpsons characters and that sort of thing. So he helped me create portals to other worlds, like opening them up, not with my third eye. Like when you open a third eye portal, excuse me, I got a cat hair in my eyelash, I think. When you open a third eye portal, it kind of opens up like right here in this space physically. But we were doing it out. So I was laying down, and then we were astrally doing it like 3-4 feet away from my body-sized portals that you could walk through. And so I go into this space and meet a galactic guide who was a canine, and he teaches me some things and takes me down these paths through this desert world. And there's a crossroads there, and there's a fire pit, and there's a woman sitting there who is very shamanistic. You might call her a witch doctor, might be a better word for it. She had a white tank top, kind of dreadlocky braided hair, not like actual dreadlocks, but the kind of braids that almost look dreadlocky. And a black woman, an African woman. She had skulls and like things on a necklace. And I believe at the time when I met her, she had the white face paint on. She had all kinds of like white face paint all over the place. Very primal looking. And we did some work together that I didn't know at the time she was human, but she felt human, and I suspected it. And she was working on me to do things to my energy, and I kept seeing this black cloud around her. And in one of the sessions, the black cloud came and was like, "I'm coming to meet you," or something of that nature. I have to go. It's been a long time. I'd have to go through the books, but the black cloud reminded me a lot of No Face from Spirited Away. If for those of you who are familiar with that movie, very like just cloudish nature with a white that white kind of round face, like a mask, almost like a tribal African mask, but more in that white style of No Face from Spirited Away, with these black just holes for eyes and kind of hole for a mouth. And so I don't remember the timeline, but at some point that black cloud comes to me physically after working with this shaman witch doctor who ended up being a human in Africa that taught me how to go to her village astrally, like how to project myself to her village using guide points that she knew around her environment, like a tree. And so I have an anchor there that I know how to, if I want to go there, I just think of that tree and I can instantly project to that tree because I know where it's at and watch the village and learn about them. That's a story for another time. It's fascinating. I was even able to prove that she was in Africa by the fruits they ate, the meat they ate, trees, all this stuff that they would tell me. So outside of that, she helped me connect to this goddess that she worked with because her name was Sarai, and Sarai helped me connect to this goddess because she was doing death work and they needed my help with the death work. This death work was in reincarnating lost souls. I call it soul recovery, soul retrieval work, but that word has another name in the spiritual community for like retrieving fragments of your soul. I was actually helping them take lost souls who did not fully cross over, and we were usually because of trauma circumstances, and we were working with this death goddess, Lady Death, and bringing them into our space. And then there were like 4 of us, and using our energies, and like I have a very patient energy and some other aspects, and I'd feel the soul with that, and Sarai would feel with her aspects, and other people would use theirs, and then we would move them on for reincarnation so they could live a life, a better life, and hopefully transition more easily in that life rather than having a trauma-based circumstance. So basically, like, they couldn't cross over, so they needed to relive a life to move on. And she started coming to me, Lady Death, and put her finger on my third eye and told me to stay in my body. This is where I talk about the safest place for you to be is not astrally, it's in your body. A lot of people will say, oh, you can go astral and go anywhere you want. Don't listen to them. It's not true. You are safest in your body when your energy is 100% completely within you. When you project and do these other things, it's almost like you're splitting part of yourself at the same time. So some of these beings will be very clear. Stay in your body. Don't come close to us, type of thing. And the reason is the vibration. Her vibration at the time was so high, and I wasn't used to working with these types of energies, these types of vibrations, that she tried to show me one time. She's like, yeah, go ahead. She's like, try and sit beside me for a little bit. And I tried. Actually, I felt physically ill. I started feeling ill because the vibration was so like it just intense, very intense, and I wasn't used to it. So she goes, we have to work with you through your own internal space to build that vibration up so that you can experience me outside of your own internal space. So she would come, and what she would do, she'd put a finger on my third eye, and the cloud would kind of like wrap around my body and just engulf me. And then she would be in I had an office that I thought she was creating at the time, but here it was my creation. I learned out later that I'd be sitting there in a leather chair. There'd be a fire, nice warm, like library, like home library, home study type of feeling. Lots of books around, fire and low lighting. And there was a door, and she would always walk through the door, and she'd wear a beautiful gown. Sometimes the gown changed. Usually it was like a greenish or a bluish color, but dark with a lot of black and shimmering the greens and blues type of thing. African woman, thin, strong, meaning not like muscularly strong, but strong, like powerful, like a true queen in her power. One side of her head, the left side had hair going straight up, like a foot or two, and very curly but squarish, almost rectangular. And then the other side, the right side, was completely dead, completely shaved off, I should say. And the reason I say dead is because she's a goddess of death and life and balance of life. And so, like, when she presents, a lot of times, I've had other people who have met her and seen kind of the same thing. She presents in a way of balance, of life is one side, death is the other side. And she, when she talks about life and death, she uses like the left side and does imagery of life, and the right side for imagery of death. Very beautiful energy, a lot of soul, reincarnation. She taught me about histories of life, a lot of histories, timeline work, and a lot of just different death work and connecting to being to other humans across the world. I didn't just meet Sarai, I met Yao Li, who I believe is in Vietnam, on the border of Vietnam somewhere, and oh man, I can't forget, Ophelia, who is in Eastern Europe, the eastern parts of Europe. I don't remember exactly where, but I've met multiple humans through this experience of connecting to this death goddess. So I'm currently at time. I'll have to do another video at some point, but that's just kind of a primer on Lady Death. I mean, if you like hearing about her, I have a book, Many Can Die or Few, that is a lot of the teachings that she gave, and then I can always do more videos too. So let me know how you like this video. If you found it entertaining or interesting, informative, that sort of thing, consider supporting me with a spirit art reading at awakenwithwillow.com, where you can get a picture of your guide, a reading, a message in that. And then I also do like divine council transmissions, realms of awakening, which are intensive coaching programs and that sort of thing. So love you all, grateful for each and every one of you.